Okay, so now what we're going to do is go through the top and take one section at a time, and I'm going to comb it up. Make sure I can see that. Yes. Okay, I'm going to comb the hair up, and I'm going to actually switch combs. And I'm going to take a lot of this hair away, and I'm going to do that by cutting little tiny V, like the letter V. I'm going to cut this direction and then that direction. And I'm going to do a bunch of tiny little V's. And that's just going in there and removing a lot of the weight, a lot of his hair at the tips, right? I'm only going above my fingers, so he still has all that hair at his scalp. But this is just going to create more of a textured top so that it can move around and not really curl so much into a tight curl. Nothing wrong with a tight curl. He can always dress it that way, but he'll have two options now. Until the hair grows out, he can dress it kind of more, I don't want to say spiky because it's not going to be spiky, but more spiky than a curl. A curl is not a spike at all, right? A curl just bends. Spikes are points and curls are round things that bend. And basically, I'm giving James the option here to be able to kind of have a bending texturized spike. It doesn't curl all the way necessarily because we're obviously cutting it, but he's going to be able to wear it a little bit different than he normally has. So okay, and I'm just pulling the hair. When I get at my fingers, I'm just pulling it so I can make that little letter V. And I'm not making a big V by any means. It is a small V. Don't take a big V right off the bat. I mean, if he's got a ton of hair and you've done his hair before and you feel like, I'm just going to whack into it because you know you can, then that's great. But it's always better to do little V's, and then you can make the V's bigger and bigger and bigger as you go. Okay, and right here at the front is where I really want to do these letter V's, because this is where his hair is the curliest. Out of all his head, from my experience of cutting it today, the curliest is right here at the very, very front. And I want to break that curl up. He can wear it curly if he wants, but I also want to give him the option to wear it less curly. You can't cut curl out completely, but you can soften the curl by removing a lot of the hair. And another thing you can do, I wouldn't do this on the first section, so we've got this first front section down, but I can come in here, and actually let me pull that away. I don't like doing it for the front section. I like the front section to be as long as possible with no texturizing, but I can come in here and remove some weight. I'm going to start here at the scalp, and let me trim this, and I'm not closing my scissor all the way, okay, so I'm just barely closing it and then kind of working my way up his head, up the hair. So right here at the scalp, I start slowly cutting, but not closing it all the way, and I work my way up. And I'm basically removing good chunks of hair. You can see these chunks falling out. He's just got so much of it, so it's not going to be a problem to take some of it out. If he was to have fine hair, I probably wouldn't be doing this particular technique. So, something to keep in mind to help texturize thick hair. You know, the thicker the hair is, the more it just sits there like a ball of cotton. So if you break into that ball of cotton and start shredding it, it becomes thinner and thinner and thinner and more wispy and more texturized. That's basically what we're doing here. I'm just going through and creating. See, by doing this, we've eliminated a lot of that curl. Of course, we blew dry it straight too, but we now have these points that we didn't have before, which gives James that ability to wear it outside of just being curly. Same thing, I'm going through the top now. I went through and I did a lot of those letter V's. It's still very thick. So now I'm just going through it again and doing that technique where I just cut pieces of the hair off, but I don't close my blade all the way. Okay, and then comb it all out, and you can see all this hair that comes out. And it's just removing blocks of weight in James's hair. And see, it looks heavy right here, so as I look at it, I just kind of take a peek where it looks heavy. It looks heavy right here, so I'm going to go through there. Okay, and you can see it's becoming more, you know, like a broken, torn up cotton ball, right? It's becoming more pointy opposed to just this round ball of cotton, and that's the effect we're going for. You know, guys with straight hair, well, their hair just goes straight and they don't have to necessarily, you can texturize it to give it a cool texturized look, but they don't have to work at figuring out how to make their hair have these types of points, you know, throughout the haircut. Guys with curly hair, they have a much more difficult time making their hair, if they wanted to dress it kind of like, you know, chunky, if that's a good word for this. And so this is a good way to kind of break into that ball of cotton and give them the ability to wear it chunky if they want. Now, I don't like I said, doing it with the front section, because I like the front section to be solid. I don't like little, especially because it's curly. If I was to go in here right at the front and start slicing, he's going to have these little frizzies at the hairline, and especially because the most curliest part on his head is the front. That's the last place that I really want to go in there and create frizziness. So again, it's still heavy. I'm going to take this front piece out of the way so I don't cut it. But it's still heavy right here. And right here. And I don't know if you could see the pockets of weight on the camera, but when you're standing right over the head of hair, you can see the pockets of weight a lot easier.